want to talk about the spirit of Jezebel part 2. Again, I'm going to expound on some things that I really need to share that are very important. I want to first say that the spirit of Jezebel will first start out grooming their potential victims. I wrote this down. I want to make sure I don't forget anything. Then this spirit will later go for the kill to destroy you. You would think they have changed and did an entire 180, but that demonic spirit was always there embedded in them. That demon was already present, but now it's full blown, fully manifesting and in operation. So I want to talk about this because I didn't expound on some things on yesterday that were very important about the spirit of Jezebel. So, you ever seen it where with a particular person, if they're walking in the spirit of Jezebel, some people will start off, being nice. They'll start off doing things for you. You'll be like, oh my God, even in relationships, this person they're just a beautiful person. They're taking you out, they're buying you things, they're doing all kind of things for you. You think the relationship is going well. Even in just platonic relationships, the person is starting off just being great. And then all of a sudden, you're thinking that they're starting to do things. Maybe they're not, they're changing. Maybe the kindness has left. They're not buying you things anymore in their relationship. Or this person, like I said, they're grooming you now. They're getting that trust. They're getting that loyalty in with you. And then all of a sudden they begin to change and you're thinking that they've changed. Like, what happened to this person? They weren't like this in the beginning, but really when that spirit of Jezebel is in this person, it was always there. It didn't just all of a sudden show up because, again, I mentioned in the beginning, they're grooming you. The spirit is very subtle. So that demon was already present, but now it's full blown, fully manifesting in operation. The second thing that I want to talk about that I did not get to expound on is that the spirit of Jezebel, I mentioned earlier, will destroy and tear up homes, marriages, churches, etc. This spirit will use you to the bone. Listen, this spirit will use you to the bone because, like I said in the first video, it's all about them. It's all about their agenda. It's all about their personal gain. They will enslave you and not care that you have things to do and make you feel guilty or bad if you want to do other things outside of them. I want to give an example. I remember I was in a ministry years ago, and it's one thing when in churches where you're serving someone, you're serving the leader, you're submitting to the leader. Some people be people's armor bearers. They're there for them, they're doing things for them. But God allowed me to see this spirit where it's a problem if someone is serving you to the point where this spirit has you neglecting your marriage, neglecting your wife, neglecting your husband, neglecting your children. I'm not speaking of sacrificing some things. I'm talking where marriages have been broken up. Because when that spirit of Jezebel is on someone, and I'm just using this as an example in ministry, where the person, because remember, it's all about them. I talked about the 22 things that I wanted to share about this spirit. There may be some other things, but this is what I had shared on the first video. When it's to the point where you have to neglect your responsibilities, you have to neglect your household, where you're not involved with your spouse, you're not involved in your marriage, you're not involved with your children, and this person makes you feel bad. They make you feel guilty that you want to do, that you need to handle your responsibilities, but no, they're making you feel guilty. They're making you feel bad because you need to be with them. You need to be doing things that they want you to do for them. If you're neglecting your responsibilities, that is a spirit. That is not of God. God is not calling any of us to neglect our responsibilities to serve someone and not have balance. That's not of God. For example, this spirit will have you where you are no longer submitting and serving God, but that person. Jezebel has become your God and idol because it's all about them. Like I said, they'll have you to the point where you're serving them like they're your God. Okay, so in the eyes and mind of a Jezebel spirit, even God takes the back seat when it comes to this spirit in operation because it's all about that person or them. So I talked about that on yesterday in the first video where they'll have you take a back seat because it's all about them. They want the recognition. They want you to serve them. What you got going on don't matter. They'll make you feel bad. Okay, so I have to expound on that. You're no longer really serving God, but that person. Like this person, like I said, they have you like a puppet. You're like their victim. You're doing everything they want you to do for them. Forget what you got going on. They'll make you feel bad. They'll make you feel guilty to the point listen, people, marriages have broken up. And God forbid you dealing with a leader that is functioning with the spirit of Jezebel. Everything else got to take a back seat. Your kids, your spouse, they got to take a back seat. The third thing I want to point out, I had mentioned on yesterday how when people have the spirit of Jezebel, and that's even in relationships, you guys, where when you're with someone that's operating in that spirit, a lot of people are calling, things narcissistic and things like that. But the scripture talks about the spirit of Jezebel, that controlling spirit, that manipulative spirit. So even in relationships, when you are with somebody who has a Jezebel spirit, it's all about them. Remember, I talked about how they will isolate you from people because they want that dependency. They want you to depend on them. I want to go back and revisit something that I want to expound on. Remember when I talked about in the first video how I've been seeing a spirit where I've seen in marriages where people are in ministry and the man of God is the apostle and the wife is the prophetess, but the prophetess or the woman of God, whoever he's married to, whatever her title is, she's really taking on that spirit of the apostle, even though the husband has that name so it can look like order, okay? But really, it's out of order because you will see where the man has that title, but he's not walking in that authority because the woman is taking over. Why do I want to tie this in with? Also, I want to talk about when it's dangerous to have in churches the Jezebel spirit. You have leadership that walks with the Jezebel spirit, and you have good leaders out here where the spirit of Jezebel will come in the church. So that can be on two different levels, what I'm talking about. But I want to talk about when you have leadership walking with that Jezebel spirit. I want to talk about even pastor wives that will have a Jezebel spirit. And when this happens, you guys, this could destroy the church. This is a big one that I saw. When you have a pastor wife who operates with a Jezebel spirit, God forbid they don't like you. Listen, when they don't like you, they will try to keep you bound. They will have their cliques. They will have their people in the church that, that they're talking about the person, because they got this spirit. They even have a subtle way of turning the heart of their husband, who's the pastor, because they had a Jezebel spirit, you guys. I'm telling you, I've seen this in operation where, that pastor, he's the Ahab. And really the wife is running things behind the scene. I've seen it on that level as well. That, you guys, this is the truth. Whether people want to hear it or not, or whether they like it, it is the truth, you guys. I have seen that spirit even on pastors' wives, and that thing can get really ugly. Listen, what I also want to talk about is this spirit don't want you in other relationships at all, even with your family. This spirit will have you scared and afraid to talk to people. It will control who you can talk to and fellowship with. This spirit will have you made to feel that you need to come to them before making any moves, like they are your Lord and your God.